So, this is the time of year for the scary, the disturbing, the traumatizing. And I've recently watched a movie that I've seen more than a few people tell me traumatized them as children. Chitty Chitty Bang Bang. Yeah, I'm slipping this in the Halloween month. What the heck? I've heard from more than a few people that the child catcher legitimately gave them nightmares, and we'll get to that part. But yep, we're doing this. This is an adorably strange movie. It feels very much of its time. It feels very much of the era of overindulgence, especially in terms of live action musicals. And it's like leisurely paced. Definitely at the front end would be the generous way to put it. The more literal way to put it would be it's 50 minutes into the movie before the main characters are even in possession of the titular car. And there's really no reason for it to take that long, other than they wanted the space to have certain set pieces, certain jokes, and sing certain songs. Like, there's an entire divergence at a sweet factory that serves no purpose other than to show off some Rube Goldberg machines and have a musical number. But that's the kind of movie this is. Resemblance to Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory is probably also going to come up a bit, due in no small part to Roald Dahl being one of the writers on the script. He didn't write the original work. That was written by Ian Fleming. James Bond Ian Fleming wrote a children's book about a magical car. Yeah, sure. Why not? Honestly, the female character in this, her name is Truly Scrumptious. That could be a Bond girl name. Honestly, I'd buy that. But anyway, so Dick Van Dyke is sort of the front and center star of this one, as the sort of movie archetypal character that doesn't exist in real life. You know, the eccentric inventor, just always inventing things, these mad contraptions, and trying to get by, trying to sell his ideas, and something always goes wrong, or they don't work quite the way they expected, or people just think that they're silly. And it's an archetype I kind of enjoy. Like, it's very endearing. It's very I love the idea of this, of someone who's just has so many ideas in their head, and they're just throwing all of them out there, and a lot of them don't work, but they're hopeful that someday one of them will. But, this kind of thing isn't, it's not a real occupation. But who cares? It's fun. It's fun and entertaining as a trope. And he's got a couple kids. The kids are quite cute, actually. I hesitate to say that the child acting is good acting, but they're real endearing. And they don't stand out. They're not awkward delivering their lines. I think they're pretty good as far as child actors go. Our female lead, she's pretty good. She sings soprano, like high soprano too. And so there isn't as much sort of depth to her voice as I would have liked for a female lead. But she's good. No, she's still good in the part. She's got good chemistry with Dick Van Dyke. The guy who plays Dick Van Dyke's father, he's great. He's real enjoyable. I saw him not too long ago because I saw Camelot for the first time. He's in that too. Also playing a very lovable older character. But trying to explain this movie. So the first half, like the first hour and 20 minutes or so, is a pretty straightforward, they get hold of this car, they fix it up, there's a meet cute between our lead character and this woman, and they're all kind of going off together, and there just doesn't seem to be a lot of conflict. Then a story starts getting woven. Basically, then imagination takes over. And the entire second half of the movie is this long divergence into nonsense. Just nonsense. And I just kind of rolled with it. It's, again, it feels very much of its time. It feels like the kind of thing that I don't think a movie would even try and get away with now. And this one just does it. There's a confidence to movies of this era, like, yeah, we're weird. What? What are you going to do about it? I like a comparison that comes to mind is Disney's Bedknob and Broomstick. That movie, I haven't rewatched it in a very long time, but that movie's also very weird, but in a very confident way. It's like, yeah, this is what we're doing. Yeah, they're just going to hang out under the sea and they can breathe and talk, and the fish are 2D animated. What? What are you going to do about it? So it has that same kind of fun feel to it. And it gets pretty absurd. There's a lot of slapstick in this. Some of the humor is character based. Like I said, with the inventor's father, there's some good character based humor with him. A little bit with the Baron, who's sort of the lead villain. But a lot of it is pretty just silly and slapsticky. Then there's the child catcher. And I think you'd have to be on the younger side to find this properly unsettling, but I can see why. Because honestly, if you want a character that fully embodies the don't take candy from strangers thing that we all got hammered into us when we were kids, I think you will be hard pressed to find a character that better suits that notion than this guy. Holy crap. Because he's luring these kids in, and then he just shoves them in this cage. And there's just a sliminess to the way he moves, and the fact that he sniffed, like he can smell children. He's like a gremlin. And I'm saying that as an adult. I could definitely see kids that he would be the kind of character who would stick in your head, and you'd worry. You'd worry about the child catcher coming for you, because that's kind of his whole deal. And I think that's the other thing, because it's not just a matter of the visuals being disturbing, which is not super much, but it's a notion of like he's coming to get you just because you're a kid, and he can smell you, and he will trick you to get you out. Yeah, that's kind of an unsettling thought for kids to deal with. So I get why he kind of stuck in people's memory. But this is fun. It is again of a time. I didn't have nostalgia for this particular movie, but I do have a certain amount of nostalgia for things in a similar vein, like Mary Poppins, like Bedknob and Broomstick, like Willy Wonka. They're that kind of era and feel to children's material. If you like that and you haven't seen this yet, I'd say give it a look. I suspect most people who do like that probably have seen it. I know I'm very late to this thing. I'm 41. I saw Chitty Chitty Bang Bang for the first time. But you know what? I had a good time. It was ridiculous, but in a way that very much invites you to laugh at the fact that it's ridiculous. It's not asking you to take it seriously. It's doing ridiculous stuff, and like, again, with that confidence, but also like, yeah, go ahead, you can laugh. We don't care. Again, I think it's that sense of confidence to it. So yeah, I enjoyed it. Seasonal? Not really, but I came up with an excuse, so why not? What are your thoughts on this one? Whatever your thoughts are, drop something down in the comments. Let's talk about it. Patreon pays the bills. and enables me to do this as my living. Even if you can't help me out that way, like, share, subscribe also help, but don't worry too much about it. We take a relaxed attitude around here, so you can always come on back next time you need a break. Time to thank some Patreon backers, and in the spirit of October, I'd like to thank Robin Moore, Zubin Lutfullah, Goddess Alita, Turok, The Thing That Goes Doink in the Anime, Ruth, Oliver B., Solitary Pictures, Ulrich Bogdan, Melinda Walters, Jen, Auntie Kate 808, Becky Sparks, Fernobulax the Poodle, Robin Powell, Tracy Scrabbit, Angry Casperl, Dave Hall, and Rosalind Bennett. Thank you for your assistance. I don't know, I might try theming the shoutouts in the future. I don't know, we'll see. Thank you.